Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a super program where we want you to be your own superheroes. We, as a team at Wellness Mandala, along with its health experts, have come to take you through a journey of mental, emotional, and physical wellness. Wellness Mandala looks at health in a holistic manner. It works on the premise that prevention is definitely better than cure. Wellness Mandala, or WELLM, as we all may like to call it, has set off on its vision of being the most effective holistic wellness provider to bring joy and growth to its people's life. With its robust tech platform, which makes it an effective and handy tool to measure and support you in your health of well being, because your health is our priority. Hi, I am Prachi, and I shall be with you throughout the session to make this meaningful session as engaging as possible. I'm glad to see a few of you putting a comment that you did like the music, and we will keep it as fun and rocking and very, very informative. So before I start, very importantly, want to see if we're all ready for the action that we're about to enter in. So, well, yes, not all of us are present on screen, which eventually during this session, I would keep inviting a few of our guests today during the session to be part of the screen and share the space along with us. But yes, for now, I want to just be you to relax on your chairs and tell us if you're ready for the session. Hope we are tummy full. Hope we're not thirsty. Hope we are in a comfortable environment and the temperature is to
Take
our
your time.
liking. Also, very importantly, I importantly hope that we're all feeling pretty and smart. So, yes, like I said, we all, and our screen is already looking filled with smart and beautiful faces. So, yes, that is how we want all of us to feel, all from inside as well as from how we look. Whether it's at home, whether it's at office, whether you're going to take your dog for a walk, be ready, feel nice, feel good. Very important. And that's exactly, I hope we all are feeling right now as we sit for this session, which is that your body hears what your mind says, right? So let's get straight into action. And I want you to know what we have come to you with.
But are you aware of the definition of Sikhism according to Nanak?
Let me see. I hope I'm mute.
Great. So, one is that you understand your health worries. Two, tell how your emotional well being impacts your overall health. Three, we will be covering how you can adopt the time tested natural laws of wellness. And last but not the least, we will be giving you out some effective techniques to cope up with your emotions and how to heal your anxiety. So you will be happy to know that we propose to bring to you a series of webinars like one today, and we will be coming to you with the same energy, the same day and the same time across coming weeks so that we can share as much as information with all of you. Before I tell you about the focused agenda of today's session, I must welcome and introduce our panel from Wellness Mandala, who will be talking to us face to face during the course of the program. We have with us Mr. Rakesh Siri, the MD of Wellm. We have with us Ms. Shivi Sabharwal, the director from Wellm. Dr. Shakti, our holistic and wellness coach, Dr. Ruchika, our neuropath, yogic science, and acupuncture specialist, Miss Apurva, our nutritionist on board, Miss Leher, our counselor and psychologist, last but not the least, Miss Nishita, our psychologist and psychometrician. And very importantly, of course, a very warm welcome to one and all who have joined us today in this super program. So as I start, I must invite to begin with Mr. Rakesh Sareen. Mr. Rakesh Sareen, popularly known as RS, a dedicated wellness practitioner. He is a global business leader, been at the helm of multi-billion dollar corporations spanning across the globe as CEO, president, and he's currently running Successfully Advisory. RS is a distinguished alumnus of IIT BHU and Oxford University. He is super passionate for the cause of wellness, corporate performance enhancement, and a greener and cleaner environment. Hello, RS. Kindly unmute yourself.
Hey, Prachi.
Good to see you all fresh and nice.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction and the start. Well, friends, ladies, gents, it's really great to be here and talking to you on this beautiful platform, this beautiful noon.
Great.
Well, as Prachi mentioned, in my own eyes, I'm doing great as far as I follow the wellness practices. And today, I see my role as a messenger, a servant leader for wellness. And the end in mind, my objective is that I must excite you in some areas, which may impact you, which may coax you to do some more research, which may help you to imbibe a new habit, which may ultimately prove that, yes, there is a little degree addition in your joy.
Oh, great.
And these little degrees, Prachi, are so very important.
Absolutely, RS. And I think we all have come to join this session whereby it says that our body responds to what we hear from our mind. So, and everybody these days is talking about emotional well-being being the crux of our health. So, RS, I think very importantly, we want to hear your views on this particular aspect of emotional well-being being the crux.
So let me share a slide, and I relate so very much with this slide. We all are in happy mood. We are skeptical. At times we are annoyed, and we sleep, of course, which could be the best hobby. But what happens is that our body hears everything our mind says in its own way. Before I come to this topic, let me say that, like you, all of you, I've also gone through my grill. I have been in situations where, my teams are working, hundreds of people are working hard, 24/7. And at any given time, 24/7, the people were working, and I've seen the pressures of daily and the weekly and the monthly and the quarterly and the yearly. We have also seen how, the impact on our happiness and joy, at the same time anxiety, which comes from our families, which comes from our society. So life is a big balance. Now, God has given us something which is super duper intelligent. And if I may say briefly for a minute, we have in our when we talk of psychosomatic, 90% of the issues what we face in our life are psychosomatic. Psycho is psychological, and soma is our body. So our psychology and our body play in tandem. Now, in our mind, we have a system called autonomic system, in which there are two components. One is sympathetic, where, which is a fight and flight or freeze situations, which we face in our life. And the other is parasympathetic, which help us to relax, which help us to detox, which help us to heal. Now, both the systems are so very important. So when in our hundreds of millions back, when a tiger comes, or when we get into a situation, our system, the sympathetic system, shuts all the functions, and it releases adrenaline and cortisol and whatnot. I'm not taking the names, out here, but we get into action mode. Now, those days, the action used to be for little time, and the balance time, we were in a relaxed stage. Today, while we live in cities, the tigers are not there, the wolves are not there, but then, we have our screens, we have our quarters, and we have our months, and then we have our homely codes, and then we have so many external calamities like we are going today.
Yes.
So this is, Prachi, what I say is that, our body is super intelligent, and, it adjusts our system to the situation. If
Great.
I,
So yes, I think we would love to know as to how these three images that we see, how is that related to these are our natural and daily routines in terms of sleeping and feeling anxious and feeling happy. But how is it related to us in terms of the disorders and the emotional well-being per se? Are these only three factors which majorly play a role?
they play a major role. When our engine is revved up, everything is, geared up to fight challenges. Our system is in a fight or flight mode, and our immunity aspects, lowers down. Many of the parameters, which are required to heal ourselves, to build immunity, to build calmness, in ourselves, all those areas are in a situation where they're not effective, whereas, our anxiety takes over us. And when we are anxious, even when we are sleeping, we are not sleeping. Even when we are smiling, at times we are not smiling. So these play a very important role, and especially if I relate with the situation where we are going through, there are a lot of stuff which is going around us. Now you see two pictures out here, and when I'm talking to Prachi, in fact, in my mind, I'm talking to each one of you, and that's a conversation, we are having. So when you see the swarm of ants, the swarm of ants is the automatic negative thoughts. And depending on the situations, these thoughts come and go. And typically a person, what I understand, gets something like 20 to 60,000 thoughts, in which if the proportion of the negative thoughts is on the higher side, it impacts us, it impacts us, our thinking, it impacts our immune system, it impacts us in so many ways. And we get into a situation which is a sympathetic mode, and our body chemistry, starts behaving in a way that it has to fight or it has to flight. And that's where, we get into the zone of anxiety. Whereas the beautiful butterfly, what you see on the left side, is a good picture. Is a good situation where our parasympathetic system, which help us to detox, which help us to, feel good, is where, our body recoups. You get the point, Prachi?
Yes, absolutely with you.
So look at this picture, when we are saying that our super genius system is always supported.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is a guy paragliding. Now the same person, depending on what is the thought process, how the person is trained himself or herself, could be in a situation which is very arousing, which could lead to the fight, flight, freeze situation, and the entire neurochemistry, the neurotransmitters in the system are very constricted. Whereas the same person, while doing the paragliding, which is a matter of joy, instead of getting aroused, could be in a very calming state. Again, that is a situation which brings true relaxation to us. It helps in digestion. It helps in detoxification. So while we are in a state of, it's a duality, but where is it that we are predominantly guided by? That matters a lot.
Okay. All right. Looks interesting in terms of how pictorially you're explaining these concepts. But RS, for us, of course, we have certain ailments or bodily disorders, something that worry us. We want to, somewhere have a guidance on those aspects also from you.
So,
So,
Prachi, it may be a good idea that we started with the phrase that 90% of the issues what we face in our life are psychosomatic. We also call it as a lifestyle disorders.
mhm.
So I would suggest that why not we get a feel of that what are the issues which are being plagued, where the people are getting plagued with those issues. So why not we have a poll? And then, I'll try to link that with some time-tested and proven natural laws of wellness. So let's have a poll, and then I'll carry further, with a couple of more slides to draw an equation that how the mind and body, are co-creating our happiness, joy, and ailments also at times, in our system.
Okay, great. That sounds like a good plan. And yes, I think we definitely want to hear from our guests and all our attendees and the panelists today as to what are the issues that they face at large. And if I'm launching a poll, and you can click on the poll and submit your answers as to what worries you. Is it anxiety and stress? Is it the arthritis problem? Is it issues related to BP, diabetes? Is it gastric, acidity? Is it high cholesterol? Is it heart related problems? Is it insomnia, obesity, PCOD, or thyroid? So we want all of you to put in your vote by simply clicking and submitting your answer. And we would then want to probably see as to what are all the attendees today are facing as the maximum issue. And yes, we've got RS to address that particular issue around the natural laws of wellness, the age old, time tested. It sounds very strong in terms of the power that it brings along with it. So in the next 10 seconds, I would be stopping the poll. So
Well,
request you all.
Prachi, I
Hmm.
will like to say, I'm Dr. Mandeep, that there is only one option. You can't click two options. So if there are two, three or more ailments, we were like, was trying to submit, but
Hmm.
when I clicked one, second, third, because they are not only one issue we
Yes,
are facing.
I
So that is the
understand.
problem we are
So it's probably the top problem that we are trying to address, what comes on top of your minds. But yes, we can have you put in more of your issues, and we have a whole panel with us. So maybe we could take it up in times to come, and you could put it in chat. So whatever other issues, if we amongst the ones that are flashing on your screen, please feel free to put in chat.
But
And
Prachi, this is a very good point, and we should consider it next time. Why not multiple choices?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Aris, I have stopped the poll, and the results are in front of all of us, whereby anxiety and stress is what is 48% of our people present today are saying. Gastric reflux, acidity being the next worry on their minds, and insomnia being amongst the third. So, yes, if they had to select one out of the multiples, then we have anxiety, we have gastric trouble, and we have insomnia. So I
Wow.
shall stop the share, and I would request Aris your views on how would you address this for our audience today.
I mean, this picture looks to be quite expected picture, frankly speaking. And when I'm getting to the next part, I think it is a very good bridge to tell us that what could be the root cause. At the same time, the good news is that the root cause is in our hand to be corrected. So let me share the screen again, Prachi, and get to the point straight. Uh, oops, where is my presentation?
We can see your presentation.
Oh, great, fantastic. So I move on to the natural laws of wellness that truly rule our body and truly rule our mind as well. And they are so interconnected. Our body is super, super, super duper intelligent. We get a cut on our finger, it heals in no time. And the beauty is that after a week or 10 days, we can't even see the scar. But imagine the same cut in the rainy season, or if we put our finger at the wrong place, in the muck and all, it can develop septic. And we get into the rigmarole of getting into the hospital and the doctors and the chemical medicine, need to be taken to take care of that septic, not understanding fully well that those chemical medicine are also destroying millions of bacteria colony which is there in our gut. But getting back to the point that these are well established, well documented, the natural laws of wellness, which are coming not from 100 years or 1,000 years, but they're coming thousands of years. People, our ancestors have researched, and they have brought out the solution coming from these 9 areas. Now, this is a huge subject. So what I'll do is, for today, I'm going to take air as a subject, and I'm going to talk on the air. And then in this series, as we go forward, we are going to take up either the singular subject, like in the next week, we are going to take the sunlight. And there are a lot of myths around that. And then in the next week, we may take water and nutrition. And likewise, so in seven programs like this, we will cover all the 9 laws of wellness. And again, my job out here as your good friend, to be a messenger, bring the facts in front of you, and excite you to take the next step. So here, what do you see, Prachi?
I see a couple of faces, some with a smile, some look angry, some look almost yelling, and some with a nice like a happy smile, happy laugh.
Okay, tell me one thing. When you are angry, what happens to your breath?
Almost breathless, gasping for breath, and wanting to yell as much in the lack of breath that we're taking.
When you're sobbing, what happens?
Okay, it is a very erratic way of breathing. When at least I can talk for myself that yes, it's when I'm sobbing, it is not a very smooth way of breathing. It varies.
And when you are calm and peaceful, how do you breathe?
Calm and peaceful. That's how I breathe.
Okay. So, friends, as is a known fact, but again, as a messenger, I'm bringing it in front of your forehead. Emotions impact breathing in a very big manner. When we are angry, when we are happy, when we are sober, when we are anxious, when we are sad. And likewise, it's a proven fact, there's a humongous research on it, that the breathing impacts emotions. So if somebody is very anxious, anxiety, which was at a big level, almost 50% people mentioned anxiety. Now, interestingly or uninterestingly, anxiety is also the root cause of so many other issues which are there. And you all learned, people, you know it, but the fact remains that breathing can impact emotions, meaning also our anxiety. The breathing can impact our physiology. Physiology is science and chemistry and physics of our body, how our body behaves. And psychology is psychology. So our body and mind, they are like yin yang, and they get impacted by breathing. So now if breathing is an issue which can impact our largest issue which cropped up in our poll, no, breathing is not an issue, or breathing could be an issue. To link it with anxiety, and we have the solution lying over there. And again, out of the 9 laws, this is one. And there are many others, we'll talk about it in the subsequent programs. Then why not we look at the breathing with more interest? And that's what, I'm going to do in the next slide. Would that be fine, Prachi?
Sounds good. Yes, I think
Okay.
we really want to hear of what more information you have on breath. You're pretty much talking about breathing per se, which is just one aspect of so many 9 that we know, laws that we saw. We're talking pretty much about air. And on that, there are so many facts that you are sharing already.
So why did I choose air? Maybe you'll get the answer here. So Prachi, what is your guess when our body in our body's detoxification? There could be 4 mediums, let's say air, sweating, defecation, urination. So what would you attribute to the 70%, which contributes 70% to our detoxification?
Breathing clean air.
You are so clever. So let me show you. 70% of our toxins are taken care through breathing.
Yes, your picture absolutely depicted it's clean and it's no, so I'm glad I guessed it. 20%
perspiration. And some of my very good friends in Finland, they have sauna, so they that's so very effective. And in India, because of the summer weather and all, so it helps us. The normal perception is 7% and 3%, urination and defecation. Now, what you also see here is a beautiful nose. Now, nose, I was surprised to learn that it has 25 to 30 functions apart from us making look beautiful, having a Greek nose, You will be surprised that people breathe and breathe. The breathing could be different for different people. Some people breathe with nose, some people breathe with nose and mouth, and some people are habitual mouth breather. Now, one other very important function of nose, let me tell you, that there is a chemical called NO, nitric oxide, which is produced, when we are breathing through our nose. So in that the air tract, so when we breathe in, we produce nitric oxide. Do you know what nitric oxide does? Nitric oxide is a chemical which has a biological half-life of just 2 or 3 seconds. It comes like woof. It helps better absorption of oxygen in our blood. It helps kill bacteria, fungi. It is a great detoxifier. So when we breathe in, we also breathe in nitric oxide along with it. The people who breathe from mouth, they miss out on that. Some people breathe from mouth while they are asleep. And There's another way. We all have heard and we know how to say Om. So when we are on the phase, when we are humming, and that's where you see this humming bee. When we are humming, the production of nitric oxide in our nose goes 15 to 20 times, multiple of what is a normal one. So when I'm getting into a lift and I am a bit scared about that, can there be some issue out here? I don't want to take any negative name out here, but that's a time to hum. And nitric oxide is a very good detoxicant. So what I'm trying to say out here is that the breath and mind heals the body, and the breath and body heals the mind. There's a lot of neurochemistry behind this, and the literature is full of it. But in nutshell, and especially we all coming from India, and then we also have some guests from the other countries in this webinar, the way we breathe is so very important for our wellness. And if I move on quickly, what you see out here, Prachi.
I do see a girl almost with glitter and looking like a fairy. It's a fairy thought, but I also see some bugs around. So what's bothering me is the bugs more than the beautiful picture in front of me.
So the ants, some other people have it, some may not be having it. Like you may not be having it, but maybe the person sitting next to you might be having it. So the automatic negative thoughts, the best antidote for that is a good breathing. And whatever bugs are there in our mind, can be breathed out in a good manner. I'm not getting into the whole neuro science and the neurochemistry. There is a solid proof, available there. On nitric oxide alone, it was discovered in 1970. Today, there are 70,000 papers in the world today, research papers on this one product alone, that how it is so very important and essential for us. So if I come to my concluding slide, out here, that I would say that there are some important reflections which need to be taken by all of us in terms of how do we use the air, as a law of wellness, a natural law of wellness to our advantage. How not to use it, so that, it is a disadvantage. So here, good part is, do I understand the science and art of breathing? And as a messenger, I'm simply bringing this point. Please do your thorough research. But in Vellum, we have curated a lot of good stuff on our blogs and on our website, where some very pointed, knowledge is available. And also, for example, I'm doing a very well-known, popular breathing practice called Sudarshan Kriya. Now, Sudarshan Kriya is one Kriya which connects our autonomic system, which have this sympathetic and parasympathetic, with somatic system. Somatic means body. How our breathing connects with our body, and there's a nerve called vagus nerve, and Sudarshan Kriya is a great way to activate our vagus nerve. So we are healing both the autonomic nervous system, which happens in our body by itself. Those hormones are released by itself. We only control we have is that are we in a calm, happy zone, or are we in a fight or flight mode? And the somatic, meaning that our senses and our action or the motory functions and all. So it's a great way, and you can find the link, wherever you are, you will be guided on Sudarshan Kriya so that you can adopt that practice. How about my loved ones? Now, I may ask Vibhu, who's there in this, somewhere in this web meeting, the two little angels, whom you have and whom you love more than your life. Should we not teach our children the proper practice of breathing? Or should we leave it to chance? Should the people who are connected with schools and education not give the logic and also make children understand that what is the function of nose? Not just the beauty, but also so many other things. And that's the reason why breathing is so important, in the right manner. Why the sport institutions, in the world teach the practice of breathing. Why the Navy SEALs of the world adopt certain breathing practices before going to the action or after coming back from action. They will not take anything just for sake of it. So, question is, am I ready to take the next step? And then, there are three very interesting breathing practices. One is water breathing. Second is coffee breathing. And the third is scotch breathing. So water breathing is a breathing, which you can breathe. We need to breathe all the day, all the time. Whenever there's a time, we should do that. Coffee breathing is, for example, in the afternoon, we're feeling a bit tardy. So that's where, have to do the coffee breathing. And then the scotch breathing is to relax in the evening, but in a limited manner. So we would be writing, our blogs would be available on these subjects. I'll not get into the details because we have other speakers, lined up in the program. And before I close, I would say that there is a power of synergy. If one horse pulls a ton, the two horses in the opposite direction can pull nothing. But in the same direction, they can pull 6 to 8 tons. That's a synergy where the whole is much, much greater than some of the parts. Now, in our situation, what I'm saying is that while air is a very, very important law of nature for well-being, but then there are 8 more. And if we can put our horses together and use that synergy, the outcome is really bliss. And the outcome is that, we can be chemical free. We can imbibe the nature into our system, and our system is made by the nature. And therefore, in the next session when I come, I would be picking up sun and sunshine as a subject. And trust me, you will see some new light coming out of the same sun, what you have been seeing so far. And I'm saying this in a very humble manner. I got very excited when I studied more about it. I discussed with our doctors, I discussed with our naturopaths, I discussed with, psychologists, that how can sun bring new kind of an energy in our life. So Prachi, I'm stopping my part out here.
Thank you so much, Aris. Quite informative and an eye-opener. And yes, you have shared a couple of very interesting terms so far with us related to water, coffee, and scotch breathing. We would want to know about these practices, for which I believe you would be putting up something on your blogs. We would really look forward to seeing them, because if only one subject, which is air, can have so much to learn from. So I'm sure, not everything can be covered in this one session. We will have to go back to your blogs to read more, and we will want to attend more sessions like sunlight is something that you're covering next. But thank you so much for sharing all this information in a very, very, I would say, a very pictorial as well as a simple way for us to understand, because medicine can always have a lot of terms and jargons which we otherwise do not relate to, but you put it simply for us, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And may I now move to our next segment, whereby we do look forward for some participation from our attendees and all our guests today. We are moving to our next session, which is called Master Your Emotions, for which I would request Ms. Leher and Ms. Nishita to be part of our space on the screen today. And if I can give a little introduction to about them. Of course, their work speaks more than what their introduction is. But Ms. Leher Malhotra is a counseling psychologist. She's a graduate from Tata Institute of Social Sciences with a MA in psychology. With the emotional wellness coach experience, she is part of the Wellem group, and she is also part of designing the Joy Capital Assessment, which is one of the 5 mandalas practiced at Wellness Mandala. And I would also introduce Miss Nishita. Miss Nishita, who is a master's in social psychology from University at Delhi. At Wellm, she is actively working on designing the Joy Capital and is focused on helping you all feel the joy in life. So welcome, Leher and Nishita, and over to you. We would love to understand from you as to what are we doing today.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Prachi, for the introduction. To start today, I'd like to take us back to the name of today's session, which is your mind. Your body hears everything that your mind says. Okay. So I'll give you some examples. When I'm nervous, I get cold feet. When I'm stressed, I lose my appetite. When I'm sad, I feel a literal heaviness in my chest. And when I'm happy, I feel butterflies in my stomach. My mind or my body hears everything that my mind says. So to start today's session, I'd like to invite a lot of you to follow the link that I've sent in the chat, or you can also follow the instructions that are there on the screen right now. So to reiterate, on another device, or if you don't have another device, that's not a problem. Just on another window, you can log on to slido.com and enter the code WELLM. It's okay if not everybody can join. I'd invite the rest of you to maybe unmute yourselves and speak when you want to, or write down in the chat.
Yes, writing in chat would be a better option, Nishita.
Yes, sure. So I'll just give
everybody is expected to click on the link which is in the chat, or on the screen you have an instruction of going to slido.com and putting in WELLM as a code and just coming over to this platform where Nishita and Leher have some questions for all of us to answer. And yes, they are on their journey to bring us closer to joy. So I feel that all of us should participate and immediately get on board. So let's just wait for the next 20 seconds for people to log in, and then let's move to our next step of what questions you have for us.
The code is WELLM. It's on the screen right now, WELLM.
Is there a hashtag also before it, or the
hashtag? So the hashtag is already there on the platform. You just need to enter the WELLM code.
People are asking that there is no active polls at the moment.
Yes, we'll activate them soon, so no worries.
All right, I think we're over with our 20 seconds, and let's hear from you both. Thank you.
Yes, so if you haven't been able to join, again, no worries. Please use the chat box and we'll be engaging with you there. Okay, so to start with, our segment right now is called Master Your Emotions. So I want to start by saying or talking about what mastering your emotions is not. Mastering emotions is not the same as controlling or changing them. Okay, so let's say that again. Mastering emotions is not the same as changing them. So as psychologists, we want you to have a more meaningful and pleasant experience of life, but that will not come by suppressing your emotions. What we need is to acknowledge our emotions, to unpack them, to express them, and to work through them. Okay, so on that note of expressing emotions, I'd like to invite everybody to play a quick game of dumb charades with us. So can I see some lovely faces on the screen, please?
Sure, I'm Nishita and Leher. I'm just activating a few of our attendees to become part of the panelists. And everybody, you can switch on your cameras who are becoming panelists. We would love to see your
lovely faces,
and we would only then we'll be able to participate. And attendees, I'm sorry, but randomly accepting a few panelists in the group. So if I miss you, please do not mind. For people who are already part of the panel, please feel free to switch on your cameras.
Please do switch on your cameras, in fact. All right, seeing a lot of faces. Wonderful.
Great. So I think we can get started.
Great. Okay. So first of all, congrats to all of these lovely faces for dedicating a Saturday morning to your emotional health. And yeah, so we'll move on with the dumb charades. The game is very simple. We've all played it all our lives. Just a small twist. What we're going to do is I will call out an emotion and you will also see it on the chat. What I want everyone to do is cover your cameras. I'm going to count down from 3, and when I reach 1 and I say go, I want everybody to remove their hand and make the expression of the emotion that I've called out. Okay, clear? Any questions? Great. Thumbs up if you understand. Great. Wonderful. All right. So first emotion, let's all cover our cameras. Let's look at the chat box, or I'm also calling it out, so no worries. The first emotion is surprise. So 3, 2, and 1. Wonderful, beautiful. Okay, let's try that again. Cover your cameras. The next emotion is scared. 3, 2, 1, and scared. Great, great. Thank you. All right. One more time. So cover your cameras. The emotion is cheerful. So counting down now. 3, 2, 1, and okay. Beautiful, everyone. So glad to see all this participation. Let's just do this 2 or 3 more times. So cover your cameras. The emotion this time is bored. So 3, 2, 1, and bored. Great. Great. I hope nobody's actually feeling bored. So let's do another. Let's just do 1 or 2 more. So cover your cameras. The emotion is worried. 3, 2, 1, and worried. Great. Good job, everyone. Last one. Okay. Let's cover our cameras. Last one has to be with a bang. Okay. And I want this to set the tone for the rest of the session. So the emotion is excited. And I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, and excited. Great job, everybody. All right. So I hope we remain excited for the rest of this session. And I just want to know, was it fun to make faces at one another? So thumbs up if it was a yes. Thumbs up if it was a yes. Thumbs down if it was a no. So great. I'm only seeing thumbs up. That's great. Super happy to hear that. So another question I want to ask you is, did you find that some emotions were easier to express than others? Or were they all equally simple? So you can write in the chat box if you found any specific emotion more easier or difficult. Equal, I see one that says equal. Easier to express the positive emotions. Great. Any other thoughts? Cheerful was easy. Okay. All right. Not difficult. All right. So I'm seeing a range of answers, but yeah, one thing that I'm hearing is that happy, cheerful, excited emotions are easier to express. So I just want to spend a minute to talk about this and why that might be. As a society, we actually feel a lot of discomfort, and we have a lot of discomfort around expressing negative emotions. So what we find is that anytime we or someone else around us is feeling sad or angry or anxious, we find that we say things like, "Are gussa mat karo na, are ro mat." But do you actually find that that has helped you? So if I'm crying or if you're crying and I say, "Nahi, ro mat," does that really make you feel better? Yes, no? Any thoughts in the chat box?
No, rather feel like crying more.
Yes, Prachi, exactly. No. Great. I'm seeing a lot of no's. So
No, it
yes.
doesn't help. Yes, lots of people
Yeah.
saying that.
Yeah, crying is helpful. Rohit, yes, that's the point that we're trying to make. So what we'd like, instead of telling ourselves or telling people around us to not cry, what we'd like to do is try to dive a bit deeper into the feeling that we are feeling. So to help us do that, Leher is going to take us through some interesting questions in the next segment. And for this, I'd like you to, whoever was able to join Slido, please get that ready. And for those who weren't, you'll be able to answer in the chat box.
We all switch on to Slido now. Whoever is able to find access to it.
Yeah.
Great. So we'll move ahead then.
Yes. Okay. So now the question is, since we've talked about, negative emotions and expressing them, and we've talked about how, when people tell us ki are ro mat, gussa mat karo, it's not always helpful. So let's get down to the root cause of it. So what are some of the things that have been bothering us lately? Given the situation that we're in and the increase in stress and anxiety, let's talk about the concerns that all of you have been facing. So you get an option to type in your answer. So type in your answer and send, and all of us will be able to see it over here. It can be single word, it can be a sentence. So we see pandemic, job security, emotional disturbance, health, very relevant ones. Lockdown and sitting at home, lockdown, negative news, weight gain, health of family members, worry, over smart people, okay? Panic of other people, falling sick, epidemic scenario, companies, financial instability. I see COVID is definitely one of the major aspects that's coming in. Okay. Okay. Job security, worry, financial health. Okay. So I have a question for everyone. So do we all feel that all of these concerns are, are all of these in our control? So can I see a thumbs up or a thumbs down? A thumbs up if you feel all of the situations are in our control, and a thumbs down if you feel that some of the situations are not in our control. Thumbs down. Can I see more videos and answers, please? Can I see a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Thumbs down if you feel it's not in our control. Thumbs up if you feel it's in our control. Okay, so I'm seeing some of thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, right. Okay. So let's talk about this. What happens when situations are or not in our control? So as you can see, there are 3 circles over here, right? So that there's a blue one, there's a yellow one, and there's a green one. Now, a lot of you have mentioned global pandemic. We're talking about work from home. We're talking about health. So since a lot of these situations some of are in our control and some are not in our control. How do we deal with the varied control that we have over the situations? Now, do we all agree that global pandemic is something that we cannot control? Is everyone with me here? We all agree that pandemic situation is not something that we can control, right? So let's discuss what this varied level of control does. So when we're in the outer circle, we cannot directly impact the situation. We can't directly change the global pandemic. But what we can do is we can break down the impact it has into smaller aspects. Like when it comes to working from home, while we can't change the situation, we can impact the productivity that we're having at work, the number of hours we put in, and the way that we do the work. Now, further going to, some of you mentioned health. So my commitment towards health is something that I have in control. So the outermost circle, we're going from less control to more control, from outwards to inwards. It's very reflective of how situations in life generally are. We sometimes have some control, we don't have control over some situations. I'd request the panelists to please mute themselves. Thank you. Right. So let's talk about this. So the blue circle is the circle where we don't have much control. A lot of times that might lead to increased stress, increased anxiety, because we might at times feel helpless. So many times, a lot of us are watching the news and then we're thinking, yeah, so many people, are passing away. There's so many COVID victims. The economy is volatile right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic, so we can't really do anything to change that situation. So how does that make us feel? It makes us feel anxious or stressed, like a lot of you have already mentioned, right? So now let's discuss what can we do about it. So when we're feeling anxious, while we can't change the situation, we can, come up with some techniques, some strategies that might help us move from the circle of influence. So the circle of influence, that things you can do to have some control over the situation. So if I'm feeling anxious, I can use some relaxation techniques. I can reach out to an emotional coach. I can reach out for support to help move from circle of influence to a circle of control. Now, how do we manage all of these situations? So let's look at.
I think we would be very keen to hear from you as to what are the actions we can take, because yes, the diagram to take us from one place to another, I think actions will really be helpful than following the arrows.
Yes. Okay. So first, when we're in the situation, we have to ask ourselves, is this concern in my control? Does it fall in the green circle? So if my answer is yes, so if we're talking about my commitment towards health, we can do a lot of things. We can actively take actions and involve our problem solving skills to do something about it. So say, for instance, I'm talking about my commitment towards health. I can join an online class for exercise. I can loop in with a nutritionist. So I can take all of the actions to do something about my commitments toward health or managing time also. But what happens if the concern is not in my control? So then we ask ourselves, do we have some influence over it? So if we do have influence over it, then that means it falls in the yellow circle. It means that while we can take some actions to make a difference, even if we can't change the situation. So I'm saying I can take actions for working from home. I can make myself more productive, but I can't change the situation. So I can have some influence over it. So similarly in life, there are a lot of things that we can have an influence over, but some things that we don't have an influence over. So the places where we don't have influence is the place of most concern. The place where we might sometimes feel helpless, where we might sometimes even feel powerless because we can't do anything actively to change the situation. But what we can do is we can emotionally cope with the situation, even if we can't take any actions for it. So we're distinguishing here between action coping and we're distinguishing between emotional coping. Now, the emotional coping is something that we can do with the help of techniques. So when we talk about emotional coping, we mean when we're feeling stressed and anxious, we can do relaxation techniques. We could reach out to an emotional coach and see if that helps. So we're also discussing that Actively seeking support involves talking to friends, engaging in things that we can enjoy, but also allowing ourselves time to feel the emotion. So a lot of us have experienced grief in this time. It could be a grief due to loss of loved ones, which a lot of us have experienced. It could be grief and mourning due to the loss of our everyday routine. It could be the loss of our journey. It could be the loss of sense of normality even, because I think we're all trying to figure out our new normal. So the important part is to allow ourselves, like Nishita said, expressing negative emotions, right? So we are supposed to allow ourselves to feel it, because that is one way of coping it, to first accept that I can't change the situation, but I can acknowledge it and I can work through the feelings of it. So we hope that these activities that we did resonated with you. And in the next session, we'll be bringing you more. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we'll be bringing you more, activities, evidence-based relaxation techniques that all of us can follow in our own time. Because, like I said, global pandemic is not something we can change, but how we're feeling about it, how we're coping with it emotionally, that is something that we can work through.
Sure. Thanks. Thank you, Leher, for this exciting segment of telling us as to, yes, it is not about mastering your emotion, is not about controlling it or changing it, but it is about how to deal with it in ways of as per situation. So thank you so much for taking us through and in collecting all our inputs and actively being with us in coping, helping us cope with our emotions. Thank you, Leher. Thank you, Nishita. And I may now please request Ms. Shivi Sabharwal to join us. And yes, I see you, Shivi. Hi. Shivi is the director at Wellem. With her experience of 15 years across several industries, definitely makes her multi-talented. She's a mother, she's a homemaker, and she's an entrepreneur who's passionate about holistic wellness. So, Shivi, firstly, your presence on the screen, of course, has glittered the screen. And I importantly want to know from you that you're an entrepreneur mom. So, how is that you stay fit and emotionally sound? What is your mantra, is what we want to begin with. And of course, then we want to know from you the Wellness Mandala's strengths and its offerings. But first thing first, we want to know your mantra.
So thank you, Prachi, for your kind words. And firstly, I think a warm hello and namaste to all the wonderful people who have joined us today. Your participation truly shows that you care about yourself and your health and your families. So I hope you are enjoying this session and that each one of you have something to take away from it. I think RS has shared some really simple techniques. We didn't know so much about air and breathing. So I hope you will imbibe these practices in your life. And remember, my mantra actually is that to achieve your wellness goals, it's not about the big and the sudden changes that you make in life. But the key is to be persistent and committed to your well-being. And Prachi, now to answer your question, how do I think a lot of credit goes to my friends, my family, for their unending support. But the energy comes from my two boys, my sunshine. So I have to be on my toes to attend to them. So I wanted to just take 5 minutes of your time and share our approach to holistic wellness. Now, Wellness Mandala has a singular mission, which is we want people to lead a healthy and a joyful life. Now, we want to encourage people to follow the path of holistic wellness by finding the right balance of their emotional and their physical well-being. So we strongly believe in the cause and effect theory, which means that the problem might be somewhere else, but the effect of it can be seen as a chronic health condition, right? So our endeavor is to help people in understanding what is the root cause of their health challenges. And through our evidence-based comprehensive coaching and through practicing the natural laws of wellness, we help in nourishing those areas that need attention. Also, Prachi, there's a very meticulous approach that we follow that helps us in assessing and understanding an individual's current emotional and physical well-being needs. So we have a very robust technology platform whereby we use psychometric tools. There is state-of-the-art machines. There are simple yet very effective questions about your well-being. And this vital information actually gives us a great canvas to get starting and planning on your wellness goal. So now the question that a lot of people must be facing is, what exactly are we assessing? So our research has shown that there are these 5 laws of wellness which we need to assess. Now, our research is done through many months, and these are the mandalas that you see. So we call them our wellness capitals, which I feel are more important than the financial capital. Now, the 5 wellness capital, which are self-care, joy, fitness, vital, and hemo, they actually capture the cause and effect aspect of our wellness at very holistic level. Now, these capitals are highly interlinked and they feed into each other. So our wellness solutions are based on the careful assessment of these 5 capitals, which are self-care capital. Now, self-care capital is answered through very simple questions. Now, these are the natural laws of wellness that rule our body and mind. And it also offers a very golden opportunity to recover naturally. Then we have the joy capital. We have developed a very powerful psychometric tool, which shows us our current emotional state of being. This is a unique tool that has been designed specifically keeping the emotional connectivity with our physical well-being in mind. Then we have the fitness capital. Now here we provide a holistic view of the physical aspects, your flexibility, muscular, endurance, strength, etc. Then we also have vital capital. Here we use state-of-the-art machinery, and this scan uses non-invasive techniques and it helps us in determining your current vital health picture and also the future health situation.
Shivi, can I intervene and just ask you to do a full screen so that our view is better?
Oh, sorry about that. Is this better now?
Can it be a presentation mode? Thank you.
Yeah. So then we also have the 5th and the last, which is hemo capital, a reliable way to assess your well-being through the typical blood analysis test that we do. So while the 5 mandala is done through digital as well as physical interference, but for now, let's focus on the digital pack that we have. We call it a 3 mandala, which is self-care, joy capital, and fitness capital. Also, Prachi, I quickly wanted to just show you the glimpse of our platform. So here what you see in front of you is a demo customer wellness suite. Now all our valued customers will have their own wellness suite where each and every information is going to be very specific to their wellness needs. Now, based on the assessment here, you see that this person has scored a 3.81. Down below, we have our scoring of self-care, joy, and fitness capital. When you do view full report, it takes you to the advisory page. Now on this advisory page, we have published all the reports, which are very comprehensive and detailed on each of these 5 domains. And down below over here, you can see the relevant recommendations for you. So which is divided into 2 parts. Here in the first, we are actually giving a complete picture of how you can take care of yourself by following the 8+1 laws of wellness. And then down below, we come to the personalized advisory page. So here, based on the assessment, we are basically giving each and every individual their own targeted advisory in terms of nutrition, in terms of diet, emotional well-being, and there are some tricks and practices that one can adopt, and their physical well-being, which will have a complete fitness chart. Now, once you've gone through your report, you can book an appointment with us, and we have a very, very able panelist of doctors, naturopaths, psychologists who will be there to attend and take you through your entire report. We also have some up-care packages wherein people need more handling and they can opt for this session as well. And what we also do, Prachi, is that for corporates, we also provide a wellness dashboard, which shows us a complete wellness picture of the organization. Now, based on which we plan webinars and sessions which are in sync with the requirement of the organization. So that was the platform. I truly hope I was able to give you a glimpse of what we have to offer. And thank you everyone for your patience. Over to you, Aris and Prachi.
Great, Shivi. Thank you for taking us through the platform. And yes, it definitely does look like a like we said in the beginning, a robust system. And what personally I liked about is that if only my well-being can be measured as scores, and it can give me numbers to where I am today and where I need to go. And there are counselors to help me in this journey. So that definitely looks like an exciting offer to what I understood from your presentation.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think I'm speaking on behalf of many others who are part of our attendees today. And I would not totally speak on their behalf. I would actually want to give them also to put in, give them an opportunity to put in their views. So, I know paucity of time, and we do have to, within the time we have to complete our session. And well, we have pretty much covered the little of what all Wellness Mandala has to offer in the natural laws of wellness. We pretty much, RS only took us through one of them, so we definitely look forward for more. And before, we come to a closure, and RS, I would definitely want to hear your closing words to the session today. But I request everyone, like a poll we did earlier, I'm launching another poll for collecting some feedback from all our attendees, uh, as well as panelists, to put in their views of, did you find the session valuable? We want your votes as yes, no, somewhat. Please be honest, to, as this is an active feedback we want to receive from you. Are you interested to know more about our holistic wellness programs? Again, your views. And would you be recommending the next session on the coming Saturday, which is the 29th of May, for yourselves as well as for your loved ones? Because yes, we propose to cover more and different in the upcoming series of webinars that we propose to conduct. So please feel free to put in your views. And while you're putting in your votes, I would go to RS, and RS, I would want to hear from you as to how you feel about the program today, and any closing message for all our participants.
So thank you, Prachi, and thank you, Team Vellum. I'm feeling extremely happy and really enjoyed the interactions while I've been watching the chat. In fact, we overshot the time. And, to err is human, and I accept that with grace. Next time when we come, this is one important takeaway for me, that we need to stick to time, and 60 minutes would be 60 minutes. So friends, it has been truly a pleasure to have you around with us. I'm looking at snowballing this whole activity in terms of, getting more people, so that, I can truly do the job of the messenger in terms of spreading wellness around us on the theme, our body hears what our mind says. So thank you so very much. And another point is that, a lot of questions, for the paucity of time, we are not answering them right now, but our team and me, we will be putting them together, clustering them, and making a compendium, and we will send it back to you as a follow through, so that you not only get the answer of your question, but also what could be there, what other people are concerned with, and what could be effective way of solving the situation by using time-tested natural laws of wellness. So friends, welcome again next week for Sunshine. Bye from now, from my side and my team. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, RS. And I would just give ourselves last 2 minutes to kinds of put in the questions that RS that you have asked for. You can please put in your questions in the chat, whereby then we will come back to you through our next session, as well as our active communication over emails, which we propose to keep doing with you. So please pour in your questions, and I do look in for a lot of compliments which are coming, and the comments which are coming. And as much as people are saying thank you, and they're appreciating the session, from everybody over here. We also thank you for being a very, very participative audience, and the key of curiosity, of knowing how your mind listens to your body. So that, I think, got us all to this session. And like I said, if there are any questions, we would be happy to hear and have them put into chat before we close and say a goodbye. Fine. We shall definitely come back to you with the questions that have come our way through direct chat as well as group chats. So thank you so much, and have a good weekend ahead. And thank you, RS. Thank you, Shivi. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Namaste.